guns, gangsters, and the pure grit of the Hong Kong underworld. It was this tale of treachery, The Mission, that made critics around the world sit up and take notice of Hong Kong filmmaker Johnnie To. A veteran of more than 25 years in the industry, he's made a name for himself by delving deep into Hong Kong's triads.
有忠有義，富貴榮華，不忠不義，照子蓮花。
His highly successful film Election showcased their secrets with his slick cinematic style. But now Johnnie To is trying something a little different. This week on Talk Asia, we go behind the scenes with the internationally acclaimed filmmaker as he serves up a slice of reality. Johnnie, welcome to Talk Asia. Now, you're shooting your latest movie, which is apparently one of 4 proposed films that you're doing this year. That sounds like a lot to me. How do you do it?
It's actually a Hong Kong style. It's our habit. It's not strange for me to do 2 movies at the same time. I don't want to be a superstar director or to be one of those big names. I just have the passion. I love movies. I really enjoy the process, and I don't need to be famous. I like staying at the production house, working with the crews. Though my temper isn't really good, but I still enjoy working with them. That's why I like to keep making movies.
This one
of the movies that really sort of, propelled your career was in 2005, and it was Election, about the election of a new triad leader. Quentin Tarantino called it the best movie of 2005. Did you ever expect that it would get such a big following, that movie?
Of course, I'm proud to have such a flattering comment from Tarantino. I like his films very much. But I don't think I'm as amazing as he described. I always try not to touch on political issues in my movies, but somehow I think it's quite essential for movie makers to hold their own views and have their own values. As you know, Hong Kong went through a lot of changes and challenges after 1997, like the Asian financial crisis and later SARS. We all survived, but no one seemed to remember how. At the time, in 2005, people were calling for a general election in 2008. The city seemed quite chaotic all of a sudden. Hong Kong needed a change, and indeed it was changing, economically and politically. My feeling was that I had to find a way to express that and tell what was going on. And that's why I used my movie to reflect some of my feelings. I used the changes in the triad society to indicate the changes that I observed in real life. Actually, I just wanted to send a message that we all needed to face change. No exceptions, right?
You're clearly fascinated by what goes on in triad society, and you're often lauded for the accurate way in which you depict triad life, including their rituals and ceremonies. How do you know so well, seemingly, what goes on inside triad life?
Actually, the triads were an integral part of Hong Kong society before the 1997 handover. Well, according to my research, there were more than 500,000 triad members at the time, while the total population was 5 million. So it's quite a lot, actually. I didn't really care what they had done, but it's a part of the history of Hong Kong. I think it's worth telling what life was like in the past, especially when I grew up in the walled city. I witnessed the whole thing. I witnessed how the Dark Forces era came to an end right after the 1997 handover. So I think it's worth showing this chunk of history in the big screen to tell of their existence. Plus, the fact that I was so eager to make a movie out of the walled city, that's why I'd been doing research on it for more than 10 years. But unfortunately, it wasn't perfect. The ceremony was actually longer than it was in the movie. It lasted for 2 or 3 days. I just couldn't find those people who still remembered all the details because they're getting old now. So the movie shows only a small portion of the real thing. I'm glad the viewers found it realistic, but I know I'm just showing about 10% of the entire ceremony. That's why I'm also quite sad about not having all of it in there. I feel that as a movie maker, I have a responsibility to tell the truth to the audience and to teach history through movies.
So for you, growing up in the walled city, it actually sounds like kind of a frightening experience for a little kid to have to live in a place like that, where it's really a hotbed of triad activity. Was it a scary place to live?
Actually, I was just 4 or 5 years old at the time. I couldn't really see a lot. It was so dark in there, even during the daytime. It was as if there was no sunlight at all. There was a tiny playground inside the walled city, which was about 600 square feet, I think, and people used to hang their clothes to dry there on the playground equipment. I can remember, I could see a dead body lying on that playground just about every day, with some kind of white detergent or powder sprayed on the body to prevent it from smelling, because it was very hard to get an ambulance in there to remove the corpse. The walled city was indeed an area that police tried to stay away from. So it wasn't strange at all to see a corpse laying there for a couple of days before it had been removed. Also, fetuses could be found in the toilets. Maybe it was an abortion or something. I don't know. But I was too young to be scared. I just felt weird at the time. It was the environment, and to me it was normal. There weren't many conflicts inside the walled city because the elders gave the commands, and the others needed to follow, so it was peaceful. And another reason was that they had quite a lot of illegal activities going on inside, so they had to keep things low and quiet, so their businesses wouldn't be affected. So outsiders might think it was messy, but in fact it was quite calm living inside. Of course, everyone there was really poor, and that's all you can imagine about the life of the poor people in the walled city.
Johnny, tell me what this film is about.
You know, Hong Kong is quite a special place. People are concerned about the stock market and the property market. We don't actually have a real industry. I mean, most people only care about housing prices and stock prices, or are simply struggling to get by. It's actually quite hard for some people, but that is the real situation in Hong Kong. These are the problems that people have to deal with if they choose to live here. So this is the message I want to convey in this movie, that there are some people who find it hard to survive or adapt to this kind of so-called vibrant or dynamic city that's the financial hub of the region.
So, Johnny, this is a disused bank that you've turned into something that's supposed to look like a fully functioning bank. Do you scout the locations yourself?
I wanted to have a place that looked like a real bank. I wanted it to look real. It's actually quite hard to make one, which has such an atmosphere. This is an old area in Hong Kong called Kwun Tong, and this place is going to be demolished right after we finished. The whole area is going to be rebuilt. It will make way for a new development and sky-high prices again.
What's life like on your film sets? You know, are you one of those directors that's throwing the scripts up in the air, you're never satisfied, or are you kind of chilled out?
Well, to be honest and direct, I'm never satisfied. Never. Actually, everyone here knows me well. I say swear words every day. I have no patience, and I don't hold back when I think of something. I'll just say it directly. I don't give people much time to prepare before a shot. I like to finish it quickly and not lag behind. I think I'm quite emotional, but I'm enjoying it though.